Welcome guys to Craft and a Half. This is DJ and Jared. We're going to be sampling porters today. A traditional porter will be marked by a more chocolatey feel. You'll have a hint of chocolate to it. There might be some roast into it as well. Different from a stout, which is more coffee based, and you can definitely get that idiosyncrasy between the two. There's subtle notes that you will taste with a porter that are going to be much more rich in character. It's a great beer to have after a cold day, or you just got it off of the mountain. It's very much of a comfort food type of beer to have. First porter we have is the Odell Cutthroat Porter. Odell is brewed out of Colorado. I haven't really had much experience with Odell. I mean, I don't know about you, but from what I understand, Odell is one of the most popular beer companies within Colorado and within the Pacific Northwest. So it's going to be a great one to try. The second one we're going to look at is the Founder's Porter. It's more of a darker, richer porter, and we'll kind of get into the body and really what the mouth feel of it is going to be once we get sampling. And then the final one we're going to be looking at is the Rudy Mountain Brewing Company. So we'll see how each one of these kind of match up and kind of give our reviews. Do you have anything else to add before we get started?
Nah, I haven't really been into porters, so it's kind of be a new one for me, so it'll be fun.
Cool. All right, so this is the Cutthroat from Odell Brewing. A traditional porter, you'll get subtle hints of like robustness. You'll get maybe a leathery taste to them as well, just because they are that darker, richer taste. When I say leathery, I don't actually mean you're biting on like a belt. You're simply getting that very strong, heavy feel to it. It's a very strong taste. So let's go ahead and get started and actually give this a whirl. That's light. For a porter, that's a really light beer. Yeah. I mean, it definitely lives up to that name. Odell, from my experience, has been more on the lighter side of things. So it definitely makes sense that they would come up with a porter that's not necessarily such a heavy beer. The nice thing is that I can actually taste the chocolate in it, but it's not overwhelming. It's definitely on the back of your tongue. You're not getting a lot of heavy taste right off the bat. I enjoy this beer. I think it's a great beer. I mean, there's a reason that it's so popular, I think. So
yeah, I agree. I smelled it. I got a little more strong chocolate smell initially, and then when I tasted it, I had to kind of swish it around in my mouth for a second before I actually got that chocolate taste. And still, even then, a little lighter than the smell too. So not exactly what I was expecting off the first smell, but still pretty good. I'd say probably beginner porter though.
Yeah, this might be one step above just a traditional, not to bag on any particular company, but like a black beet porter. That's that very subtle. You're not really getting a lot of heaviness to it. Black Butte, I would say, is a great one to start with. This is a great next step. This will give you something that's a little bit more heavy, a little bit more textured. The body to the beer is really good in the aspect that, like I said, it's not very heavy, but it is definitely a quality. You're getting a lot of taste and a lot of feel to it. You can definitely feel it swishing around in your mouth. I recommend this beer for anybody that's just looking to get a little bit more adventurous with their beers. It is a good beer to have if you just want something very subtle and not necessarily overwhelming. So I would give it an 8 overall with the porters that I've tried so far in my life.
I'd probably give it a 7, just based off the lightness. I feel like porters are generally a little more rich, so that's kind of what I was expecting. But overall, still really good, tastes great. So I'd give it a 7.
This is the Founder's Porter. According to their logo, it's dark, rich, and sexy. So we're going to see if that actually lives up to the name. So this is going to be interesting to taste. Just from the look of it, it is a dark porter. This is it looks very rich.
I'm excited. That sexy definition of the caption right there, it's got me going. I'm ready.
All right.
I think it's about to be a good time.
Oh, that's a rich beer.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts?
Definitely rich. I don't get too strong of a chocolate note as I thought I would, with it being as dark as it is. Let me down on the sexiness, so didn't make me feel some type of way, which I was expecting. But
Not a fan.
Overall, I thought it tasted good. Not really what I was expecting based on the look and description of it.
it's much more silky. It's much more. It's a creamy base. So the last porter that we tried with the Odell's wasn't so creamy. It was a much more fluid beer in your mouth. But it's very creamy. It's almost. It very much reminds me of like a very heavy, rich cream that you would put in like a coffee. So you can definitely taste the alcohol. I can definitely taste the alcohol within the beer itself, which is interesting. I don't get very much chocolate, like you said. Like I'm not getting a lot of chocolate. It's the most subtle hint of chocolate, and like I haven't really. I mean, I don't even smell chocolate in this beer. Like it's not necessarily like the most portery beer I've ever had.
No,
this isn't something that I would say that I necessarily love or would want to get a six-pack of.
Yeah.
So
I think it's definitely one to try, but not one I would continue to get.
Honestly, I'd give it like a 4. It's not a good beer in my opinion. I've had worse porters, but it is not a traditional. Like for me, it's not traditional at all. I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably give it a 4 as well. Definitely. I mean, it's dark, it's rich, but don't really get any chocolate notes. Taste the alcohol a little more. So overall, the taste isn't as great. This is the Ruby Mountain Brewing Company Bristol Cone Brown Porter. So it doesn't really have much of a description. Kind of interested to see what we're gonna have with this one.
I can smell chocolate in it for sure, and you can definitely tell there's heavy alcohol content. Crisp, light, crisp, very, very much so. I'm tasting more hops too in this one.
I'm interested. So I'm generally, I like hops in my drinks, but with porters, I don't necessarily look for that. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah. It's definitely more of a hop-centric porter.
Because when you smell it, you get the chocolate, but when you taste it, you don't really get as much of it.
No, I'm not tasting a lot of chocolate. It's a crisp beer.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed about this beer is it's very crisp and it feels clean.
In your mouth.
I mean, it's good. I like it. I really like this beer. It's not one of those beers that's in your face either. I don't know. I think this might be a good beer to have. Just like the Odell during a more cold period.
I don't know. The hops just throw me off. I'm just kind of indifferent about it. I think it tastes great, but I guess not what I would look for in a porter. But overall, it's not bad. It like you said, it's crisp. It's smooth in your mouth. Not as chocolatey as I thought, but I'd probably give it a 6. Mainly just because I'm not sure what I feel on it. It might be one of those where I got to drink it a couple times and it had to grow on me. Yeah. But just initial taste, I'm just not sold on it.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. I would give it a 7. It's not on the higher end of the porter spectrum for me, just because like Jared's mentioned, it's not really rich in that chocolatey flavor, and it's not very heavy where I'm looking for a porter, but it's definitely a very smooth, crisp beer. And you can taste the richness to it, and I think that's the key to a really good porter. So to recap, we tried the Odell, the Founders, and the Ruby Mountain. In my opinion, the Odell was my favorite. I think it's a stronghold. There's a reason that a lot of places produce Odell. My second favorite was definitely the Ruby Mountain. And then definitely Founders was on the bottom of my list because Founders, I didn't really enjoy what they were doing with this. It is too dark, too in your face, but the Ruby Mountain was almost a perfect contrast with the two.
I mean, I kind of disagree with you on that last end. The Odell is definitely my favorite. After having the Ruby Mountain, just the indifference it kind of gave me, and almost to me felt like a conflict of flavors. I'd honestly probably bring the Founders Porter up. And I'd probably prefer that one over it, just as a personal preference. Yeah,
definitely. Which is interesting because you're an IPA fan. Yeah. You like hops.
I'm not really looking for a porter to make me think of an IPA. So when it kind of brings me over there, I just think of other IPAs that I've had, and it obviously doesn't really compete because it's not an IPA. Because it's not meant to.
I'm not much of an IPA fan. It makes it interesting for me. This Ruby Mountain really throws a lot of things off for both of us because I don't really like a lot of hoppy beers, but I can stomach this beer because I think of the crisp, clean finish to it. but you can still get that rich flavor.
You guys just have to try it and let us know what you think.
Put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching Craft and a Half, guys.
See you guys next time.
Traditionally, you want about an inch ahead of the
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What happens? Well, it's the carbon dioxide in beer. If you get that, and then you eat something, it's gonna like Mentos and Coke.
Really?
Boom through your stomach. The carbon dioxide is actually supposed to be settled to the top. If you let that beer just continue to have the carbon dioxide and not give it head,
Okay.
it'll be a shitty beer and it will hurt like hell later.
Let's do it.
But when I'm thinking porter, I'm not thinking something that's going to hit me in the face with cream, just like this. We got our director over here making sexual innuendos, so I'm sorry for that.
You can't say hit me in the face with cream. Do you want to rate it?
You can just censor that one out.
Yeah, we're going to cut that.